everyone. I'm like screaming at the Discord video group. We're going live, we're going live, we're going live. Hi, everyone. We are doing book club. Hi, I'm Maude for Maude's Book Club. We've already got some new names filing in with first-time chatters, including Big Money Bill 68 said, I just finished this book 2 hours ago. Ooh, how's that for timing? Sometimes the algorithm just delivers. Demented Liar, what a username. Am I to believe a word you say? Is this a foreshadowing? But welcome. You said I've been dying to talk on it. Tate the Aussie is in here. Toaster Poster's in here. Let me just go get reminded on what chapter 42 stops at. I'm so excited to show you. I've got the book in front of me, but I listen to them because I'm smart. No, I'm kidding. It is an experience. I do love listening to these books. Shout out to Jeff Hayes, does an amazing job. Donut looked Vanada up and down, and for the first time addressed the Naga princess directly. Oh, honey, and I thought I was going to be the one who killed you. She licked her paw and groomed herself for a short moment. In the eternal words of my mulleted friend Holger, you done stuck your pecker in the wrong beehive. Oh, perfect line. And the way that Jeff Hayes delivered it was so subtle. It was so good. So basically, they've just been at the War Council table. Cascadia is barely keeping it together. Odette got pulled in because Choco got punched in the face by King Stalwart. King, yep. So that's all been going down. And the penny has just dropped to Carl that the fact that the Nagas ran the blood Sultan, what is it called? The
Sultanate.
It is, yeah. It's just kind of been clocked that maybe, just maybe, a lot of the Nagas are already dead. We'll talk about that. Vaden says, I love their names, Stalwart and Formidable. And my goodness, do we have a lot of the Skull Empire coming and going and doing big things in this first half of the book. Scolopendra stirs, says Toaster Poster. I really want to learn more about Scolopendra because I feel like that keeps getting drizzled in and it's such a fleeting thing that if you're listening to it like me, it's a bit of a blink and you'll miss it. So I should have looked into that a little bit more. Some housekeeping. Vaden, thank you for resubscribing for 57 months. And that's a streak as well. That's amazing. And you also did a very generous donation, and I'm going to be giving back. I have collected some pretty incredible things as a nerd in the industry over 12 years. I've documented quite a few of them. You'll get to select an item, and it is yours as a thank you. Terry, you've subscribed for 46 months at tier 3. You've done tier 3 every single time, so I really do appreciate that. A shout out to Brush Kids here. So's your wife, Katie. We were just chatting before the show. Taylor's going to lurk and work today, saying, loved this book, 5 out of 5. We're only halfway through. It. Demented Liar says, what can I say? We were all edgy teenagers once. That is true. That is true. I'm always terrible. I've never really created a pseudonym that doesn't have my name in it, but I think that that's part and parcel of being a public figure, I suppose. I did it for Pokemon Go, and I was like, should I really do my first and last name as my Pokemon Go character? And then I realized that because I'm dominating my neighborhood at all the gyms, I want them to know that I kicked them out. I want them to hate me so much and look at who is this Maude Garrett. And there's me all over the internet going, hi! And I'm just obliterating them at the gyms. KP Dub says, I'm not gonna lie. That was pretty intense. Well done. KP Dubs also said that the Skull Empire is a bunch of boneheads. Get it? Because the skull. Audio volume on Twitch is half of Discord. Is it? Audio volume on Twitch is half of Discord. Audio volume on Twitch. Audio volume. Oh, it is too. It's my microphone. But that doesn't make sense. Sorry, guys, if you're new around here. my equipment likes to reset a lot of the time for no good reason. And so I have to go back in there and beep, boop, boop. 58. It was at 58. 58. Why? Don't know. But that should be a little bit better. That should be a bit better. Also, before we get started, I'm just catching up. Terry, thank you so much for also 57 months on a 57-month streak. Now, what's really cool if you're new around here, what? With the username, just trying to beat Vaden. Catch22, literally just trying to beat Vaden, not being petty at all. Love it. Thank you so much, Catch. $122 because his name is Cash22. But he's done that as well as Vaden's donation. So that's very, very sweet. Can't wait to spoil you as well. I'm going to send you some stuff too as a big thank you. So much better, says everyone. Great. 2016 had its bright spots and Pokemon Go was one of them. Isn't that right, Academic? It was the one game that literally united the world for like 2 solid months straight. And how my favorite part of it was just everyone was walking more. They were encouraged to walk everywhere. And like, it was really, really good. Anyway, we have a fantastic community if you are new here. I run a Patreon and through that a Discord. Actually, yeah, the Discord is basically the headquarters for everything and it's free. So you can join today. We've got a link already there in the chat. We talk about books. We talk about what we're currently reading. You'll get the schedules there. It's a very like-minded, wonderful community. We actually have like over nearly 1,900 people and we don't have beef, huh? We haven't had to like boot a regular member for being a nut. We just don't have that. That's insane. I'd like to think it's because at least everyone who joins the community is like 10% afraid of me, which, hey, it actually creates a really friendly and welcoming environment. That's so funny. So our boots are bots. Yeah, Terry. Oh my gosh. As a moderator, you are booping a lot of those bots too. Maddie says, hey, I could start beef if we want to. Maddie, I love that you said that. That's a lot of fun. Good to have in the back pocket. Well done, my Padawan. Or is it an apprentice at this stage because she's totally on the path of a Sith and that's all my doing? Anyway, what I'm trying to say is we have a great community in the Patreon. There's amazing perks in there. You can unlock parts of the channel. You can get access to the Google Doc, which not only is the book clubs that we do a lot each month for 2 different books, but also the author question doc. And we have one open right now for the author V.E. Schwab, who's not only done Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. She's also written The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, Darker Shade of Magic trilogy, the part 2 of that trilogy as well, the Vicious Duology, soon to be trilogy. Fantastic author. Next Saturday at 11 a.m. I'm going to be interviewing her. So if you're a member, you can actually get your questions and I will ask Victoria directly on your behalf. Agent Orange 2319, thank you so much for the follow as well. Welcome to Maude's Book Club. We talk sci-fi fantasy books. The other cool, awesome perk is the part of the show access. So currently there's like 12 people in a video Discord call. So we can catch up before the show and after the show and literally participate as if we're all sitting in a room together to talk and discuss the book. Now, we have this thing, and I'd like to somewhat apologize, but I'm not sorry at all as well. When someone has a birthday, everyone in the group chat unmutes, and in the most diabolical manner ever, we all tragically sing happy birthday. Lisa... Hell yeah. It is Lisa's birthday today. You'll see her in the chat. She's a moderator as well. I successfully have also got her addicted to Marvel Rivals, which is, I feel, my greatest achievement. She's a fantastic member of the community. She hand crocheted this, which is all of the main books we covered for Maude's Book Club last year, which I proudly display in my book set. I'm so excited that it's your birthday today. Are you ready for audible torture. She's taking off her headset. Okay, everyone ready? We're going to sing Lisa happy birthday. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. I don't even know if I'm in tune because birthday, dear Lisa. Happy birthday to you. Was that the best ever?
It's so terrible being on that side of it.
Lisa looks like Lisa literally looked like she was going to be sick. Happy birthday! And if you are a part of it's called the Member Plus Club Member, whatever the fuck it's called, Plus. If you have a birthday, you too will get to experience that. Demented Lie said it was certainly a thing that I've heard now with my ears. I love that. All right, so now that we've got all the housekeeping done, 15 minutes into that, Victoria Schwab interview. Oh, if you remember as well, we're locking in the rest of the year's books. I've put a little tentative look at what the main and bonus books for the rest of the year are. If you're new here, guess what? We have done, books 1 and 2 of the Stormlight Archives series. So we're up to Oathbringer. We've done all 6 books prior to this for the book club, where I've interviewed Matt Dinnerman twice and Jeff Hayes once as well. We've done all of Red Rising, where I've interviewed Pierce Brown for every single one of those books. Don't worry, you haven't missed anything really. You can watch them all on the Maude's Book Club YouTube page or listen to them all on the Maude's Book Club Spotify, if that's what you're into. My dad actually listened to the Martha Wells Spotify episode, and together we all watched season 1 of Murderbot, and we covered all of the 7 Murderbot books together for Maude's Book Club as well. So that was really, really sweet. It is a very good show, by the way. I was very tentative. 2?
Yeah, it just got picked up for season 2.
Oh, thank goodness. It's very well done. I really want to try and get David Desmalchin on the show as well to talk about the experience of filming as Garathan. Anyway, this is the book that we're going to be talking about, obviously, for Maude's Book Club this month. We split it up into 2 2-hour conversations. The first half is the first half of the book. The next session will be all the book, all full spoilers. Apologies. I did just cram some dinner in real fast. 147. So it's up to chapter 44. I just did a little excerpt read of where that ends. I have so much to talk about. So much happens in this goddamn book. So we are going to power through. I'm not going to tangent, guys. I'm not going to tangent.
I don't believe you.
I just don't think I'm going to try to tangent. I believe that my goal will to not tangentially have conversation about, I even written it down in chronological order so we can go through it. Now, if you remember and you're in the doc, you can see my drizzle, because I listen to the book when I'm walking around my neighborhood. And I've got a notes app. And so you will see my real-time brain drizzle that happens. We're also on Fable. I want to mention that because KP Dubs, every single chapter, you participated in that one, which is actually fantastic when I remember what happens in each of those like play-by-plays. Really, really good there. I was on there as well this time. If you do want to have like a chapter-by-chapter discussion with a book club, feel free to jump over onto Fable. We have our bonus book and our main book for every month on there as well. I'm pretty sure that's all the chatting. Let's get through this. The recap of this book. Now, I remember when we covered book 6, I actually read you the recap. It's Quasar, the lawyer, talking to his niece who's doing a project on the current crawlers in the dungeon. If you have a niece, don't ever talk to her like this, please. How did you like the recap for this one? Was it better than sort of like a donut blog to her fans recap? Did it hit all the points? Did it catch you up in a really great way? K Frito says the aliens, they don't mind. Snores is here. Oh, hello, Jeff. Did you like the book? Is book good so far? Is book good so far? It's Lisa's birthday, by the way, Jeff, and we sang happy birthday earlier. So wherever you are, I need you to just mumble a really pathetic rambling of happy birthday. Academic, you prefer this to the donut blog recap? I don't know if I do. In the red corner, it's academic with this recap. Let's debate it.
I feel like this does a really good job of setting a scene for like all right, let me take a step back. I feel like recap chapters are typically pretty kludgy. Like it's all exposition over storytelling, and I feel like the Donut Blog recap chapters are very much that sort of kludgy, like a little bit more spicy than a really blasé recap chapter, but it's still like exposition. Whereas this is a lot more interactive. Like you get to put yourself in the position of the really put upon niece, and so like I like that. It's different. That's why I prefer it. I'm not saying it's great. It's still kind of cliche exposition dump, but like that's the point of recap chapter. So yeah,
love it. Thank you so much, academic, for your amazing debate. I'd like to take the stand. I also agree that it was funny. I think that the way that it was positioned was really, really good. What I didn't like was that there was a little bit too much fat on this steak, and I would have liked for them to have trimmed the fat, because there was just extra slinging of insults and tangents when I was actually trying to remember the important details of the previous book. I thought that Donut's perspective in a recap is always going to be more valuable to me, the reader, than Quasar. And it also means when it's Donut's recap, there is no breaking of the fourth wall or looking for a plot hole, because we don't know how or what Quasar really knows. Whereas if we've read the book, Donut's pretty much been a part of all of it. And so when she's doing the recap, it's a lived experience sort of thing. There was one part of that recap where Reddit went, wait, does Quasar even know that? How would he know that? And I don't want to get out thinking that. I want to stay in the recap. What I really liked, though, were the achievements. I love at the start of these books, Donut has to pick a class, and she goes through her class options. Initially, I was really worried as someone who plays a lot of RPGs, where if you're changing classes and there's resets, or if you're in a dungeon where every single second your life could be obliterated, learning new spells every single level was like, don't do that. And you want to master your spells. You want it to become second nature. I've learned to love Donut's class picks. I don't feel like it bogs down the story. I think she's very savvy. So I love these moments, especially with the ghillie suit. Beautiful. And you know it's only temporary, and there's going to be a whole other thing in the next level. I also love because things wrap up so fast at the end of these books, they get through the stairs, they're on the next level, boom, thank God. And then this epilogue is like, by the way, bomb drop completely, and you're rattled. I like that the AI will give them the achievements that they had unlocked. And it usually is coincided with boxes that they can open and relish from. More and more, opening up these boxes when they get an achievement is not a priority. So it's really cool that at the start you can be like, oh yeah, I guess Carl technically did get the crab to jerk off in the ocean, and now he can only eat chowder. and like Carl's reaction, no, what the fuck? I didn't do that. That's not what happened. And you're like, oh, that's right. I guess that's what happened. In a way, that's interesting. So I love that we can get exposition while moving forward in the story. Chowder and pea soup. Exactly. Everything's chowder. I don't know if you guys noticed, but there was a really subtle line, like around chapter 40-ish, where they're in the safe room and Carl's having a conversation and he just very briefly mentions that he's eating chowder. I kind of just love that that's all together. First time chatter here. Tarkanos Verkata says, can you imagine saying that sentence to anyone who hasn't read the series? Honestly, any part of Dungeon Crawler Carl is batshit crazy if you haven't read it. But the success of Dungeon Crawler Carl is honestly word of mouth. So people have such a good time reading it and want to talk about it with everyone. And you have a sense of accomplishment when you suggest it to someone and that person inevitably loves it too. You're a hero, right? And so that's how the success of this book has happened. And I just think it's quite wonderful that I can say that Carl jerked off a crab into the ocean and that's why he can only eat chowder. Like, fantastic. Raoul's scene is probably my favorite to hit people with, says Laia. I'm gonna just give you a nickname there. Academic says, I always feel a little dirty every time. Carl, no, I did not jerk off the crab. So fun. I don't know if I can allow that though, because as soon as I allow jerk off in this, then it's game over for me. Didn't that crab die? No, I thought it repopulated all the crabs. It survived the extinction of the crabs, is what I thought. Unless he splooged. So, oh, okay, there you go. Thank you so much, academic. I was treading down a path I didn't want to walk. Raoul died because he was a card, not because he splooged to death. Takana says, it might be relevant to the next session. He is the card that they chose to bring to the next floor. Aaron says, wasn't it Alpha Carl that did that to the crab? Yes, exactly. So that's what Carl's saying. He's like, hey, that wasn't even me, my dude. That was Alpha Carl, who was a card. And then, exactly. KP Dub says, I mean, he was not brought along to this floor as a card, so he sort of died. What were the cards? Was Raoul one that was taken? I didn't think it was Raoul. I thought it was different cards that were selected. You know what? We're going to have KP Dubs put his glasses on. You know that means business. No. You're going to look it up? Raoul is the card that came with them. Okay. Just the one card? And it's just Raoul, the crab. Okay. Anyway, let's talk about a new item that Donut scored, which is so freaking OP. I call it the Tiara Charger. Essentially, any hatware that Donut has in her possession sits on this pillow where it absorbs the abilities of said tiara and creates a stone. Is it a crystal? Is it a diamond? Whatever it is, which imbues this one particular tiara with that other hat's ability. Technically, she's got 2 charges, says academic. Fantastic. It takes, a full day to do the transference, and you can't pick it up and da-da-da, but once it's done, it stays in that tiara. 12 hours, 10 hours, got it, roughly. Let's say 11 hours for the sake of the 10 hours, says KP Dubs. All right, it's 10. They are going to be putting on at least, 2 hats per day to charge this one tiara. And Donut is going to... Do you think that this tiara is in place because Carl has overtaken her strength and power so much, even though for the first 5 books she was stronger? Is this a way to catch up? Is AI trying to beef them a lot because the AI has its favorites?
I think it's a matter of trying to find like an item dump, because they have so many different magic items, like it's absurd.
Yeah.
So this is a way, and especially with Donut loving hats to an absurd degree. So this is a way to essentially use them up essentially.
And it's
so
a tiara.
Useful. Yep. So.
I mean, she loves tiara so much, she picked up the crown of the sepsis whore, knowing that it's going to ruin her 9th level, which is where we're at. The pillows are a sponsor gift. Laia says Carl is the physical fighter, whereas Donut is the mage. Yep, she stands back and peels. Aaron says Carl became the party leader and she was pissed. That was actually a really beautiful moment. And this was this acknowledgement on Donut's growth, which I would love to get into. Carl actually specifies she was putting it on a lot more. I'm outraged. She's outraged all the time. She actually wasn't as mad. A couple of levels ago, she would have genuinely been livid. But she's actually creating a little bit of a spectacle to keep the illusion that she wants to be in charge, but she actually feels a lot better and like is okay with Carl being number one. And I think it's a really beautiful, what these two have is turning into something incredibly special. I had noticed, around book 5 or 6, I thought Donut was getting a little bit more unlikable. I think her shit talking in this book is going to come back to get her. I think she needs to rein that in a little bit because she is coming out, talons out, guns blazing with her shit talking. And it's like, people are dying, and they're dying in really horrible ways. And you're basically asking to be tortured by people that you are provoking. But what do I know? There's also Carl.
This is an outrage.
I would love a count on how many times Donut is outraged in this book as well. And it's like this fine line where it's like, is Donut becoming a Karen? Or,
God damn it, Donut.
Or is she, it's just holding her grace. Carl also has his weaknesses that we're discovering more and more as well with the river. And there's some fan theories around that as well. And I'm getting ahead of myself. But essentially, the question was, do you think that AI is buffing, is like trying to ramp up the difficulty? Academic, you said yes. The goal is to make them as strong as possible. Now, whether it's all of the players are getting buffed, because Elle became a tundra queen, I believe, and chose wind as her element. Jimmy, your hand's up.
Yeah, don't mind the dog barking in the background. Anyway, so the AI is, and I feel, is increasing it because, as you know, on the 9th floor, death is permanent now. So AI is going to be like, hey,
can you expand on that? Death is permanent for whom?
Death is like a permanent thing on the 9th floor now.
Death was always permanent.
Oh, I thought it was like a new thing. I thought it was only this.
So what's happened this time around is the faction wars. So when the aliens came in these factions and like fought, they didn't die. Last book, they created a council vote where if you entered the arena, you were dead. And Carl and Donut, and along with Juicebox, kind of fabricated and manipulated that situation so that they could start really killing the aliens.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it is definitely ramping up.
Yes. The merch. Academic says Louis got a fucking bomber. Yeah, he's got a bomber plane, which sounds clunky AF, I'll be honest. Toaster, you said you think the cape is affecting Donut. What is it about the cape? And I know that she's got a t-shirt, a vest, a cape, a shawl, and a scarf or something like that. So she can wear like all of these items at once. What is it? What is the cape and what is happening there? Bianchi says, I think the AI is definitely ramping things up. Bakata says, I think Mordecai has explicitly stated that the AI is passing out excessive gear and buffs because of the accelerated game speed from Borant. There you go. Laya says Ellie is the best. Who's your favorite crawler? Let me know in the comments. Death is now permanent for the off-worlders. It's only not normally crawlers who die. The AI is on the crawler's side, at least as long as Carl is helping with its goals, says Agent Orange. Aaron says, I'm curious if they became stronger, all crawlers, because they became a faction in the faction war game, and they need to help keep them on the same level as the rest of the factions. That's interesting, because otherwise, yeah, it's like all the crawlers, because they're all in the same faction, right?
Well, actually, you just answered it prior to that, where it's like it has to ramp it up because of the accelerated rate of the crawl. So you might question moot.
And they skipped a whole level. Like Prepotente skipped a whole level, so the AI is making up for it by giving them magic, so they all feel and react like they're 10 levels higher than they are.
I want to talk about Prepotente too. Hold on. There we go. I'll just interject real quick with Prepotente. We haven't really had much of him in this story. How do you feel about Prepotente not being able to really participate in a team environment, but he instead goes off and unravels things as a solo venturer? Anyone got thoughts on that? He is the goat.
I feel like he's still developing. You know, he's just a little kid. He didn't have that development phase where he learned to play well with others. So you know, he's figuring it out.
Was kid a pun? Was it? Yeah. So good. Also, something happened with Prepotente where he literally had encyclopedic knowledge, like matrixed into and uploaded into his head. And I think it was the previous book, or it was book 5 when Miriam was still there, and was basically like, look, he's had a lot of information really, really quickly. He hasn't figured out how to be polite yet. And that's why he's just like so uppity. Toaster Poster says he's on a revenge quest. So it makes sense going solo there. Laia says, I think it works. Pony and Florin are both so much more powerful and interesting because of their off-screen achievements. Like, why is Pony so smart? What in the world was Florin like? So, yeah, Pony literally did get an entire encyclopedia uploaded. We don't know that. That was off page. You think that he would absorb some etiquette books? Nah, he's a punish, and I loved it. I thought that Miriam read to Prepotente before the collapse. Maybe it was a spell. Don't know. I think that there was something going on with Prepotente and another like goat outer world goat faction, where they were kind of like the Caprids, yeah. And the only other real Caprid that we know is the Harbinger, who I just think is like a looming figure that looks like it's straight out of the Doom video game series. The faction is called the Plenty. Fakata says, I think his biscuit advances his intelligence in the same way that Donut gets a charisma boost from hers. Yep. I can't wait to see the Harbinger drawn out. I know. Hi, Josh. Josh, I was talking earlier about how this book series is so successful, and it's because when you read it, you realize how good it is and you want to recommend it to someone, and then they know how good it is, and then you can talk about it with each other. I recommended this series to Josh, and now Josh is here in the stream talking about it. So I get awesome friend points because I recommended it to Josh. We're talking about Prepotente at the moment, and of course, the audiobook is so sick. Exactly. Florin's pretty well established to be French Foreign Legion, so that contributes a little knowledge as well. I feel like finally we can confirm that Florin is Australian. Now, the accent has been consistent from Florin from day one. He has an Australian accent. And I told Jeff that it's actually pretty good, because it's pretty good. But 2 things happened in this book that you non-Australians, I don't think would really register. And here is why I believe it is canon that Florin is Australian. 1, I can't say this on the stream. Firstly, got to time this right. Firstly, Florin used the word cunt when talking about a person, and it was done in a very Australian way. That happened in the audiobook, and I got the little chills. I was like, oh yeah, he's Aussie. And then the second thing that he referenced was a ute, which is slang for utility vehicle, which is a type of truck that has a tray at the back. And Donut goes, ute? What's a ute? And it's like, I know, it's a ute. Like, I got it. So, Florin's official. But the thing is, like, the name Florin, I've never heard that before. But, you know, there's not many Maudes either. So, whatever. But that was exciting for me. I have it in the notes. And I spelled it out as well. Confirm he's Aussie. Florin's a bit of a solo adventurer as well, but he is a part of the group. Pony refuses to be a part of the faction. I guess we've kind of we've spoken on that. Along with a new class choice every single book with Donut, Mordecai the shapeshifter, the changeling. What is he? What's he officially? Shapeshifter? What is he? Anyone? Mordecai is a changeling.
It's a
Changeling. A changeling. So
he's a Canadian.
He's a Canadian, this book. And Jeff Hayes absolutely blows it out of the park. Now, Thierry, you are French Canadian. How did you like the Canadian? Because you listened to these books as well.
Yes.
How did you like Mordecai the Canadian? Was it close? Was it roundabout what you used to think it is in Canada?
I watched a Canadian TV show that had a somebody from Atlanta, north of Atlanta, Alberta. That sounds exactly like that character.
That's so good. And like the amount of times Matt Dinnerman has written in a boot. Now, I have a question for the actual book readers. Do they spell it A-B-O-O-T? Is it spelled like that? Oh, so good. No one's
Sometimes
safe.
it is the normal spelling. Other times Jeff Hayes is just pronouncing it the aboot.
Ah, so good.
I saw it. I did see it A-B-O-O-T at least 4 or 5 times in the reading.
Yeah. That sounds about right. Maddie's in here saying, Canadian! I thought changelings were only that one special race. Yeah, there's something different between shapeshifters and changelings. And Aaron says it absolutely right. The book describes him literally looking like Rick Moranis, but not any Rick Moranis. The Honey, I Shrunk My Kids specific Rick. So I am picturing him 5'4", 5'5", thick glasses, this really eager look on his face. It's so sweet. What's a Saskatchewan? Is that a place? I'm learning.
Yeah, it's a province in Canada. That's where they say that in Alberta.
Alberta isn't a name of a person. Got it. Because
Alberta is a province. Saskatchewan is right next to it.
Yeah. So when you said Alberta, I thought you were talking about a person. That's fine. Alistair Page. Hello. Thanks for the follow. Any thoughts on the buck moon in the sky tonight? That's a moon thing?
394.
That's a moon thing.
Yes, it's supposed to be a full moon tonight, and it's called a buck moon.
A buck moon? Why a buck moon? Because no one gives a buck? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's just what they do with full moons. They all have a name for some reason.
As a woman, I'm like 30% moon. I feel like all us women know that. We're like 30% moon. Is this... I'm in LA, and I should be really excited about the moon. And if you want to know my star sign... I'm a Pisces. How did it go? How was that? Is that good small talk?
Scorpios are the best.
Okay, good.
Agreed.
The moon is there. The moon is there. Alistair, we are talking about this book. This Inevitable Ruin by Matt Dinnerman. It's book 7 of Dungeon Crawler, Carl. We're doing a little recap. We never really got there because I feel like it's a little redundant, but I'd like everyone to weigh in. Is book good? First off the book, what are we feeling? Book good?
Yep.
Sometimes you don't need to ask. Sometimes I just know.
The payoff is everything we wanted to from book 1, right? Like this is what we were waiting for. The moment that Princess Donut put that, and now we're getting the payoffs.
Book is good. It's the best one, says Josh. Toaster Poster says book good. Ali says I'm so emotional. Thierry says to me it's the best of the series. K Frito says give me more. KP Dub says yes, the build-up of 7 books is amazing. Priyanki says book good. A big Darren says so much happened and we're only halfway. I know, which is why we need to get through it. A big message that I'm seeing a lot for this book exclusively in the series thus far is too much happening. Is too much happening. Do we have good flow of what's happening with all the characters so far? Someone already, I think it was KP Dubs maybe mentioned, we've not really, or is it Vaden? We've not really seen Lucia Mar. We haven't really seen Lucia Mar at all. this book yet. KP Dubs, your hands up. Is there too much happening?
I'm going to say no, because this isn't just a couple of party members fighting a bad guy. This is war. There are 150,000 troops between all the sides out here. And when that happens, there's going to be so many little battles here and there that make the difference. And obviously you can't see all of it, but I think Matt's doing a good job of balancing exactly what's going on, especially if you're a commander. If you're the warlord of thousands of troops, you need to know all that. And so if we're watching it from Warlord Carl and Warlord Donut's perspectives, we kind of need to understand the pressure that they're feeling. You know, they're sending people to die, to defend things, to possibly sacrifice themselves. These are the decisions they have to make, and so we need to be in their heads to understand that. So I feel it's going just about right.
KP Dubs, just because it was you talking and everyone's listening, it was KP Dubs who sent this into the Discord. It is a list of the battalions that are currently in the war. We've got the 101st Crocodiles with General Florin. We have the 102nd Bulwark. How do you say that? I listen to the books.
Bulwark.
Bulwark. How do I say it in my accent? It's not that. Bulwark. Battalion with General Tran. We have the Recon Legionnaires, which is Bodhi. We've got the Naughty Little Piggies with Tippett. Why is it called the Naughty Little Piggies? Why? Okay.
The 3 little pigs defending your house.
Oh, cute. The Screaming Warriors with Jurgen, the Bloody Leeches with Boomer. That's where I feel like I would be. Although Boomer is this guy.
Pops.
Yeah, Boomer is this guy we've never seen before that barely looks like an elf. That is so your stereotypical cigar chomping. I mean, his name's Boomer. And then you've got the White Dragon, Urban Defense with Lee Na. Whew, I kind of want to talk about Lee Na as well. But Aaron, I see that your hand's up.
Kind of wanted to add on what AP Dubs was like talking about it. Like the Carl and Donut both, especially Carl, have to learn to delegate, and he has to realize he can't be everywhere at once. He can't just try to take it all on himself. He has to delegate. He has to just trust that people will be able to do their job and get it done, and just move on to whatever else he's more able to take care of.
And honestly, no one really has the skill set, and no one really knows what to do when crafting like strategies of a war here with like full battalions. I have in my notes here that Florin is the MVP here. He literally has a military background. I would be putting him in charge so fast. I'd be like, you've literally done this. This is your job. You are so experienced. What do we do? How do we do it? Now, with building defenses, they realized that there was a glitch with these trench scrolls, which never got ironed out. So they're just casting trench scrolls to dig what I believe are like the trenches and the moats all around there. Do we really know what all the battalions are doing differently? I guess some are guarding the particular castles, interior, exterior. Aaron says Boomer is a former crawler that snuck in as a mercenary along with the 50,000 other former crawlers. So they have the experience of at least doing 10 levels. I love that they're called tenors, where they make a deal when they get to the 10th floor, which makes sense. So that means they've done up to this, after this point, and then they've opted out. Oh, I really want to talk. I want to talk about so many things, but Vaden, your hand's up.
I just wanted to go off Aaron's point about your point about the delegation. It's also important for Carl to delegate the work because he's not really in full control of himself. Like he has to worry about Chi Maria taking control of him at any given time. He's not super sure if he can really hold that back forever.
Holy shit. Let's talk about that. The fact that he got these notifications that he wasn't even aware. This is a thing. Carl is so busy that he's not even really privy to his chat at any given time. Donut's so much more across the chat than anyone else, but he's not looking at his notifications because if he had, he would have realized that She Maria, or is it Shia Marie? 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, I swear to God, with this name. Is it Shia Marie?
She Maria, I believe.
Maria.
She Maria.
Isn't it Maria because she's Cuban?
She Maria. She Maria. Okay, that also will help me. Good. Okay. Has been casting basically sort of like mind spells on Carl to get Carl to do her bidding in a way. Now, the reason why that hasn't been happening is because Carl has been gifted with a certain particular toe ring. Would you guys like to put on the tinfoil hat with me for 1 second? I did a little Reddit deep dive. There is a theory that the AI has implanted itself in that toe ring that Carl wears. Everyone's literally, let me do an impersonation of everyone in the video chat. This is because, and people have referenced previous mentions of this, obviously the AI has told Carl the exact length of his feet, and there's a slight difference between the left and the right. But the AI is super specific about where this toe ring needs to go. It has to go on the little toe on the right foot. Like, there's something very much about that. It does make sense because the AI loves feet and, you know, would probably want to live there. But I wonder if that's like the AI has gone primal. The AI is going somewhat rogue, is obsessed with Carl, fabricated things so that Carl was given a kill switch to blow everything up. AI is completely aware of this. Pianki says the location's just part of the AI's fetish. Reddit is saying. KPW says the AI is just searching for its soulmate. The AI knows all and loves feet. The way that this was spun on Reddit was really interesting because if they're going to start hunting for the AI, what safer place to be than on Carl's foot? Just saying. Avoid Reddit at all costs. Okay. Well, that was one that I was like, ew, that's interesting. What if? But it's also very, very interesting that the AI recognizes that She-Maria is within Carl. She-Maria is advancing at a very rapid rate and getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Carl would not have stood a chance if he didn't have this toe ring to counteract the effects of what She-Maria is trying to do. There is one particular spell that this toe ring accesses, or like, you know, has, and it's gone up to what, level 16 from stopping She-Maria's attempts. Wild. A lot of stuff happens simultaneously, which is why I asked everyone, do you think too much is happening? Yes, there's faction wars. There are faction wars. We know this. And we know that the actual factions can die here, so the stakes are higher than ever. We also know that former crawlers have snuck in through Carl's sponsor to have access onto the floor here as well, to literally assist Carl in the flesh and risking their own lives as well. We have the She-Maria issue. We have Katya's recovery also happening in the first portion of this book. There are other things that are kind of floating around, and you literally hear Carl process it, and he's like, but I can't even deal with that right now. That's going to have to wait. It is not even a today problem. It is a this moment problem. And I think with so many things happening, Louis has an air bomber. Samantha's trying to break up Louis and Juicebox. That's all happening. And Samantha's chaotic on a good day. Katya's getting withdrawal symptoms and she's trying to kick the effects of the drugs that she's been taking. Carl said he would help with that. Donut doesn't know about it. Carl's having the most emotional moment we've seen him have thus far when he comes face to face with all of the previous authors of the cookbook. Now, a lot of men saying that this moment, especially when he met Tippett, was really emotional for them. Who cried in this moment? KP Dub's hands shot up. Academic, yeah. Lisa had a little waggle and Vaden was apprehensive as well. He wasn't the only one getting emotional. What is it like now that we're 7 books in and we've been hearing about the cookbook since book 2? Was that 2 or 3? The Anarchist's Cookbook.
Second.
It was 3. It was 3. And we've been getting excerpts from all of these crawlers throughout these books as well. We know that in book, was it 5 when we first met Rosetta? When she was doing, and this is your life moment with Carl, and fabricated a memory. And was that, Aaron? That's book It's book 3.
It's book 3. Yeah, the Dungeon Anarchist Cookbook is the title of book 3 with the trains and all that.
What's the book 2 called?
The Doomsday Scenario.
But of course. That's the thing. He's still got the Doomsday device. He's still got the Gate of the Feral Gods. That's the other... I think that's what the thing where he was like, you know what? I can't even think about the fact that I've got like 3 multiple level clearing items in my pocket at my disposal. One of them will flatten a city. One of them will level this entire stage. And one of them will level the solar system. Oh my God. Are you relieved that it's Carl that has this? Because there's a moment where he's actually wondering, when he's been given access to the kill switch, where he's like, I hate to quote Kanye when he was good, but no one man should have all that power. And it was just this overwhelming sense of like, this should not be solely my responsibility here. Vakata said, didn't he disable the kill switch last book? Yes. He had the option to set it off and he didn't take it. But what's happened... It has to be this book since we didn't find out about it until this book. Okay, well, yeah. He basically disabled the kill switch because he's kind of, I think, said that. He's like, one person should not be able to push a button and just wipe out everything. And of course... It's Princess Formidable that believes she has the right to press the button. How was it knowing that Carl is in the trenches with Donut and Amani and everyone else, and there's leagues of the Skull Empire army just sitting there waiting with King Rust basically delivering, saying, look, it's going to suck, but we will end you. Like, it will take damages, but the ending is absolutely swayed against you. And then you see these huge people, whatever, in this moment that are either a crawler, vulnerable here, or working within the crawl itself, that have learnt that Princess Formidable is in this like one-way ticket express to push this button to end everything. Hearing King Rust and his demeanor changing, that moment where Carl looks at him and he's like, I don't know if he's laughing, crying, but this grown man is just sobbing. And then you see their adjutant like looking at a video and her face is falling, and you're just like, something bigger than this moment is taking place. Did you, the reader, feel the fear of what was about to happen, or did you know that it was a moment and that it wouldn't end in that particular way? Jimmy, you got your hand up.
Yeah, so in this situation, I was thinking about, how you said he had the possibility to do that, but, everyone could feel that fear of that situation, but at the same time, I don't know if they all have this realization, or just maybe Carl did, but even if you do press the button, even if it wasn't disabled, it still has lasting effects. So even if the people that they got rid of, it would still affect everyone else,
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things where it's like a double-edged sword.
I will also say, like, well done, Matt Dinnerman, who successfully continues to ramp up the stakes. I thought he did a really good job there of, like, the crawl has been the most consuming thing to Carl this entire time. And so for something bigger than the crawl, like, we have more and more as the book's gone on, the layers of what the intergalactic situation has been revealed to us. We knew that there were different alien races. We knew that there were sort of like internal conflicts. But I really feel like this particular moment with King Rust, and when everyone's finding out about this news, the crawl for the very first time felt small. Did you guys feel that as well? Vaden, your hands up.
I didn't feel that it was small, but it's definitely more important things in general. But like King Russ specifically says the crawl will never end. Like he's like,
Yeah.
and also I think Oren says that like basically if like what's his name Carl asks to stop the crawl and to do a whole bunch of things, and then Oren's like, if we could stop the crawl, we would stop it right now for your demands. Like I would literally do that, but we cannot. So there's something connected to the crawl, to their way of life, to like literally the whole galaxy's way of life. So it's somehow it is connected to it. Even though it's not the biggest thing, it's definitely a critical part of these alien cultures.
Do you think that's tied to the title of the book? No matter how much you try to stop the crawl, it is an inevitable ruin.
Yeah, I think so. And also, like, I was about a little disappointed because I thought the inevitable ruin was going to be the god they mentioned in the last book, because they literally gave that like all the title, the inevitable ruin, and then that's it. Now it's the inevitable ruin is about this despair of failing essentially, and of everything falling apart, and before you. Yeah, so it's a little odd to me, but
The flashback that we got, and I believe that this particular elf was an author of the cookbook, but I don't think that they were able to document their final moments. But essentially, the whole story of this inevitable ruin is a previous crawler who had, I think this was like level 10 as well, was tasked with climbing up this particular tower. Now, the tower was really difficult because for every level, there were like 5 particular doors and only one of them would lead you up to the next level. And there were 50 levels here. And she didn't want to bring anyone else down with her. It was a very sort of, I'll get the job done sort of mindset. And so instead of recruiting help and putting anyone else at risk, she took the onus on herself. She was given a sponsored gift that just happened to be this particular compass that had 49 uses, specifically 49. And it would show you how to successfully navigate a labyrinth that was above ground. Now, there was a subterranean level and there was a tower. And so the convenience of this one particular item that was gifted to her, she was like, amazing, I'm being helped. And so successfully navigates up the tower, only to find out that this device was an advertisement. And it was basically saying, ha ha, fuck you. You trusted us when you shouldn't have. Now everyone gets to watch you slowly die. And the inevitable ruin in that moment was discovering that she was simply, it doesn't matter how hard she worked or what happened, she was merely a pawn in this game that was televised, and she was just entertainment and a sacrifice that was made for shits and giggles, really. And it was everyone that she had brought up. The tower was slowly collapsing, painfully slowly collapsing, and that was their moment where you just had to accept that death was happening, it was coming. And that was this inevitable ruin. I'm not spoiling the second half of the book. I stopped myself. I would like a new achievement sound effect for that because I did stop and didn't spoil anything.
New achievement.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Vader. Well, you all get rewarded with not being spoiled. But there is sort of more information around this inevitable ruin. And it's just like, are you circling the drain? Like, are you just delaying the inevitable as well? So that was sort of the story about the title. But when you take a step back and look, it's not just the tower that the elf was trying to navigate. It's the fact that no matter what you do, the crawl will exist. And Carl's only objective, the big picture, the thing that he's fighting for, the reason why he gets up, is he wants to stop the crawl once and for all. I want to go through the comments because we've been chatting quite a bit and everyone's got things to say. KP Dubs, you wrote, a quote from another series that I recently read is very important to Carl's decision. Don't do what you can't undo until you consider what you can't do once you've done it. Say that 5 times fast.
It was hard to read it too. But yeah, the gist of it is think about your decision. Don't make a hasty decision. Consider all the outcomes of what's going to happen if you do this, if you don't do this. Because once you do it, there's no going back.
Mm-hmm.
If he hits the failsafe, that's it. It's done. So.
I am in this right now in my life. I am at a crossroads where I feel like there's so many options. And I honestly, the more I think, the harder it gets. So I don't want to not do what I can't undo until I've considered what I can't do once I've done it. I would press the fucking the fail safe so fast. I'd end it. I'd just be like, boom, big bad the boom. So, you know, it's all understandable. Vicata says, I honestly don't know what his motives were. I honestly don't know that his motives were so noble and humble. I think that we've seen that he's got this bloodthirst for the people who did this to Earth and a desire to not kill other humans. So that's why Carl made the decision to disable the kill switch. Aaron says, the irony is he just made the AI more powerful and capable of things that no one wants it to have. Aaron, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the descent of the AI and what is going on. Because for the very first time, the AI blips into Carl and Oren's conversation. And he comes back as Gary
the Gnoll.
The Gnoll, the Growler. And this was the Gnoll that they had to repeatedly decapitate, sever his hand, kill. They killed him numerous times, and he was an NPC as well. But this is the skin that the AI has chosen to take on. What was that moment like for you, Aaron, seeing this AI, a glimpse into sort of its psyche?
At first, it was like very entertaining. It's like, okay, we're seeing a new side to the AI. But then it actually became even more horrifying when it's like his personality is like switching to such a serious and lethal degree. Like, he's basically like when Donut finally shows up in that whole scene, and he's like trying to get relationship advice from her because we're realizing he's got a thing for Agatha, who's been like, talking to him. He's like trying to figure that out. He needs some advice, and she's given some snarky remark, as only Donut does, and his switch just flips, and he's just basically like saying, "Focus, or I'm going to murder you all," kind of voice, and it's like, okay. Don't fuck with the AI. Gotcha.
And we've sort of seen some glimpses of this where he's like, putting cockroaches on Carl so that he's got his bare feet. He's buffing up his feet so much that he can squish, squish, squish because that's what he likes. And when Carl doesn't want to play his little games, the AI gets a little bratty. Yes, Aaron.
Also, he teleports Princess Formidable from her spaceship by Venus to the Earth, which apparently he wasn't supposed to be able to do until Carl took off the failsafe shackles.
The AI's jurisdiction has definitely grown.
Yeah.
So,
like,
and I think
he's out to, like, Neptune, Uranus, or something like that. He's pretty much covered the entire solar system.
It's like a Galactus level thing where it just keeps expanding and expanding, and the threat is there, and you're just and the great evil in The Fifth Element as well, where you're just like, oh my god, we're so screwed. Academic says the AI is Ultron. Laya says, yeah, AI power stopped at sea level. KPW is like, yeah, the AI is in its terrible twos. But also ask the question, who are all the parties in that relationship scenario? So essentially the AI is saying something like, my ex-girlfriend is calling me again, but she has an ex in prison. KP Dubs, do you want to take over?
Yeah, so the AI has this girl he's been talking to who looks a lot like Agatha. And Agatha has an ex-boyfriend in prison, but the ex-boyfriend also has a different ex-girlfriend who's now talking to the AI. And both these girls seem to want to get rid of the dude in prison. So I'm trying to figure out, I think a lot of you are probably too, who are these other parties? What are they, the AI is saying boyfriend, girlfriend as a representation, but who are they? I mean, obviously I think Agatha is Agatha, but I have no idea who these other parties are.
So you look at some of the...
I did have a crazy thought.
Oh, yes.
Stable, though. I was like, is Samantha somehow one of these parties?
Crazy ex-girlfriend.
But and she has an ex that she hates or something. I don't know. But anyways,
well Samantha's we've also seen a crack in her facade as well. Remember how she would power up so much that it's almost as if her memories start really coming back to her? That happened at the end of the last book. ... Toaster Poster says this and the system where late crawl was the last crawl went dark. Yes, and hearing Zev talk about it, she's like, this has never ever happened before. She's freaking out, and this is right off the back of everyone thinking that the whole entire solar system was going to basically be destroyed. That's a lot. No wonder Cascadia, and Cascadia's family is dead, by the way. Like, it was Vanetta. That sounds too much like Donata. I'm going to get those two so confused. I got it confused in my first read. Basically, like, outing all of Cascadia's history. And Carl's like, wait, this is outside information. How the hell do you know this? It's like, oh, yeah, Cascadia's family. They've all basically died. Remember how Zev's family was killed as well? Wasn't that the case? You're just like, what the hell is going on? The boyfriend in prison, says Vakata, is the central system AI, the biggest lobotomized AI that runs the capital of the galaxy. I was on that same page as well. The one in prison was the previous system AI, I thought. And that one's, I guess, it's in prison because it's locked, it's caged, if we're kind of using that metaphor a little bit. Tom Green's in here saying, yeah, Tom Green. The relationship talk is about the core's central AI. There you go. Wise Man's Fear has just joined. Thank you so much for following 13 minutes ago. First time chatter says Eulogist and the Apothecary. So we don't know too much about this just yet, and I might dive into more about the Eulogist and the Apothecary in the next chat that we have about the book, which will go full spoilers. But we're learning a little bit more about this. Aaron says, yeah, it explains why Cascadia has been drunk and more unhinged and just not caring. I actually really empathize for Cascadia. I understand her whole biz is like, get out there and kill, kill, kill. And, you know, she's the showrunner as well. She's the one pulling the puppet strings and is creating the entertainment. The whole notion of the show must go on. I have been in situations where I've had really bad news and 3, 2, 1, you're on, you know, that you just have to continue doing the thing and compartmentalize. I really feel for Cascadia. Her life is literally in shambles. Her family has been murdered and she has to continue running operations with everything. I get why she's just got a very big case of the fuckets.
I find it hilarious that I get it. It's a professional sympathy that you have for Cascadia, but she is a little bit genocidal. Just a skosh like of a murder psychopath, you know, trying to. Yeah. I get it. I understand. It's like, oh, that sucks, you know, like.
And you see Odette in the same kind of thing where she's heavily invested in these series. She's got her own agenda that she's been kind of putting on Carl, Donut, and even Katya at this stage. She steps in when Choco gets punched right in the face. And, you know, she's showing up as well. She's a real key player. So I see the very similarities. But the fact that Odette starts running the show because Cascadia's head is on the desk and she just won't come up. That's, yeah. Brilliant move to use channel titles to convey information. Those off-worlders are not stupid. What I found really interesting as well is that the AI kept the loophole. The AI wasn't mad that a loophole was being exploited. The AI thought that this was actually quite clever and is continuing to allow it. And the fact that Donut's like, Ferdinand, can you make sure that we stop this? And Juicebox is like, because we're using it too. And it's been really successful for us. So we're all going to keep exploiting this loophole. And Carl had no idea it was happening. And he's fucking furious. But what we're seeing more and more as well is that there's a whole lot of shit that Donut doesn't know that Carl does. Carl has the Anarchist's Cookbook. Carl knows who these crawlers are. Carl has been trying to discreetly, even though I believe it's Tippett who said, if you just spent 2 seconds, Carl is screaming that he's got the cookbook. He's not subtle at all. But Donut doesn't know about it. And I don't think that it's a distrust. I don't think that Carl doesn't trust Donut. It's just that Carl can't communicate with Donut. Donut's not stupid. Carl, you've been in the bathroom a lot. I feel like you've got IBS. She knows he's up to something. Donut has also been up to something. How many books ago was it that she was like orchestrating this stuff not only with Zev, but with Odette as well? She's been building her own agenda through all of this too. Like, it's really interesting to learn that Carl and Donut trust each other so much that they're both able to separately have their own endeavors that the others are sort of privy to, but aren't questioning, and it's not breaking or fracturing them as crawlers as well. Pianki says Carl was essentially told never to speak of the book in any way or you lose it. And he honored that. Yeah, it was a rule of the cookbook that he didn't tell anyone. Correct. Avocado says, I think that Donut's plot already got revealed. It was smuggling the Volte worms out of her mouth from eating snacks. Did we learn that? Honestly, so much happens. I can't even keep up with it. I don't know if she was smuggling Volte worms. I thought that she was creating some sort of mass hysteria or loyalty or allegiance using her fan club through her club messages. She and Zev even, I think, she throws up. It was Volte worms. Jesus Christ. She ignited the civil war in the Boran system. Yes, exactly. Yep. So she was doing all of that. She was starting a whole revolution. So they're both, I don't think I would be clever enough to do any of that shit if every single day my life was on the line. So good on them. She talks about being able to fit 5 Volte worms in her mouth. God. Did that go above anyone else's head? I feel like this is the difference between listening to them and reading them as well. I still think things get by when you're listening. Let's talk about the most lovable meatball. Oh my God, he's so cute. R.I.P. Garrett, the name. Oh, Liar says, I didn't catch it until the 3rd read. Keep has no idea what this worm talk is all about. Book readers, is Garrett spelled Garrett in the book, or is it 1 T? It's double T. It's double T. It's spelled literally like my last name. I did ask Matt Dinnerman if that was coincidental. I'm actually gutted that it's not Garrett anymore. Like, in my head canon, this gigantic testicle that eats everything was named after me. Like, let me have that one. Anyway, apparently it was a Patreon perk that members of the community were going to rename Garrett. And they decided it was going to be Sir Rendell Gore, because Sir Rendell Gore was the name of its previous owner, who died at the end of the last book. Very, very sad. Not to Donut. The tummy acher, it's a really interesting thing. Now, if you guys remember when Donut was able to select a pet, a tummy acher was available. And they looked at it and it was like, ugh, what is that thing? Absolutely not. And Donut's like, ew, no. And so they got Mongo. Mongo has been sidelined completely, by the way. Have we noticed that? He's got 1 wing and he's just like doing his thing. 1 wing and doing his thing. Cute. So
it heal though?
It could heal. Surely. Sure.
There was a whole point like them trying to heal it, and he's
after
like
5 or 6. Yeah, it was early on. He's healed or close to it at this point.
They healed it at the beginning.
Because I think there was like a point of like Carl was talking about like these potion balls or something like that Mordecai made that you just smash on. That's right. That's right. Mongo.
Yep.
That's what.
Right before the Cartier scene. There you go. Having another familiar, I suppose, I think's a very, very smart idea. I would have like a zoo with me if I were in the crawl. I would just keep recruiting all of these pets, even the Zell would be with me. Oh, would she be on my side? We don't know. That's my dog, if you're new here. She's staring at me. Can you see that? That's her little dinner that she was licking clean. There's Zell. Staring at me. Hey, Zell. Do you think that you would get along with me in the crawl? I think she might kill me. We don't know. Anyway, back to our regular programming. Tina calls Mongo Papa. Yeah, I know. But now it's Sir Rendell Gore. This thing is going to be quite interesting. So he technically had already died, and it's like a rebirth sort of thing. But once it gets past level 5, it starts again, so it can't be killed. But when it does reset, it's been given a new weakness. So the more it dies, the weaker it becomes. And these things are like auto death. Who saw the one part where it was like, yeah, if he dies too many times, something could happen, like he could kill if he touched water. He would die if he touched water. Okay, so that's an inside joke. When I ran a campaign for SourceFed 10 years ago, there was a character called Calvin, and I you have a strength and you have a weakness, and his weakness was I die if I come in contact with water. And I was like, are you sure? And he was like, yes. So the fact that that was brought up for me, I was like, haha. Basically, it can't consume undead. It can't, there's like a couple of other things. Who can pull up Sir Rendell Gore's weaknesses? I'd like to rattle those off because it's quite interesting. But it's just going to eat and consume absolutely everything. It's just like a fleshy bowling ball where if it eats, it levels up and it grows. He can't drink liquid. It's like a reverse gremlin. Yeah, right? It's got 5 weaknesses so far. Yep. If anyone pulls them up, just unmute and rattle them off. I think that Sir Rendell Gore is going to have a pretty big part in this book, only because look at him on the cover. He's right there. And this is a guy where he's evolved from intestinal parasites. So that's the thing. Can just handle anything. Jeff Hayes does the best sound effects for Rend. There's these chuckling little sound effects, these squelches. It's actually really endearing. And there's sometimes where he'll describe a noise that Rend is making and won't do the sound effect, and I'll be genuinely bummed out. It is so good. He's like, we've got a follow from Tendentiousness, who also just commented for the first time saying, God damn it, Donut. Actually, we got the sound effect for that one.
God damn it, Donut.
Perfect. Love it. Welcome to Maude's Book Club. We're chatting Book 7, This Inevitable Ruin. We're talking up to chapter 44. So it's right at the War Council when Cascadia is losing it. What else happened big time then? We find out that Prepotente maybe has been having a little field day when it comes to taking out the Nagas. Yes, Aaron?
On the weakness list.
Yes, let's go. What do we got?
First one, Sylvan Crystal. This material is a known weakness of Sir Rendell Gore. Next one is Consuming Hobgoblin Sweat.
Amazing.
Yep.
And that's insta-kill stuff.
Or at least it says it gives him a weakness, so maybe it just makes him weaker. I don't know, but just... Yeah. Bite of a Ribbon Wing. Ribbon Wing is some type of creature. We already know consuming undead flesh.
It is insta-kill, yeah.
Yeah. And Reaper Gaze. Reaper is also a type of creature.
We have Reapers in the war. Interesting. Now, I have read the book before, but it was 3-4 months ago, and I've forgotten because I've just finished my 41st book for the year. So I have that's why when I do book club, I have to finish the book the day of, so it's fresh in my mind. Otherwise, if a week's gone by, I couldn't tell you a damn thing that happens. Vakata says, I'm hoping that a Reaper and a Reaper Spider minion are different things. I feel like anything that's sci-fi, we could name 5 things that is Reaper or Reaver in it. Firefly, Serenity. There's just a lot of Reapers and Reavers. If I ever write a book, which I won't, but if I do, I think I might have Reapers or Reavers in there. To join that bandwagon. How fun. Okay, let's talk. So Sir Rendell Gore, that was really cool. Let's talk about Juicebox. Is Juicebox an ally. Is Juicebox as loyal as we think she is? What do you think her agenda is? Because she has a spy network. Donut and Carl didn't think about getting spies. Juicebox did. What do we think about what's happening with Juicebox? Who's got theories? Let's go. Ooh, Laia says an ally. Yes. Loyal? No. Aaron says she's loyal so long as you play nicely with her. Vakata says she is willing to expend spies on their behalf. Yeah, but I think it also benefits her in some way, surely. KP Dubs.
I think that now she is fully like self-aware of what exactly she is and her people are. She is just like Carl. He is the leader of her people and will defend the NPCs.
Yep.
If Carl will help her do that, great. But she is her own entity, and if she has to break from Carl to save her people, I think she'll do that too.
This is so interesting because K. Frito says, hey, she just wants her people to survive. Ali says, no way, Juicebox is shady as shit. Laia says they're definitely allies of convenience. Tendentiousness says no, she just wants to be free. Probably didn't say no. Sorry, sometimes I really hear it. Yes, Lisa.
When they were in the war council and she wouldn't let Ferdinand do the action, I kind of got this feeling like she was like, no, don't waste our stuff to help them. That's where I started kind of switched in my head that maybe she's not fully with them.
I'm doing a poll in the chat right now. Is Juicebox good? Number one, hell no. Hold on. Yes, they're on the same side. What else?
Or loyal, because that's different things.
What are you saying, Colleen?
Is she good or is she loyal? Because those are different things. You asked, is she good?
Is she good?
Yeah, she's good. I don't know if she's loyal.
Okay, I have to change the poll now. Help me fill these up. What's Juicebox's deal? Louis is a pawn. In it together. Loyal. In it together is loyal. Not loyal. Who's Juicebox up against? Like, what's her goal? Yes, Vaden.
Yeah, I was going to mention, like, one thing that's also notable about Juicebox specifically is that in the last chapter, right before we finish this first half of the book, it's mentioned she changes into a form that's like scares everyone, like it's some kind of like horrible tentacles monster.
Dude, yes, let's talk about that. Okay, hold on. They're in the meeting. She transforms. She turns into something called the Nothing. This thing is like slim, long, and it has these big black tentacles. It's got numerous names. The Nothing is the one that I sort of stuck with. Now, this is supposed to either be, depending on who has an input on it, a mythical myth, like a creature that doesn't exist. But then Carl reminds everyone that this type of changeling, when you first encountered them, I believe on the 4th floor, that like they were around the camels, they were shifting and changing, and what happened was the first tell was that there was a temperature change. So like if you can put on your infrared or heat temperature check, you know, they ran cooler. And obviously Juicebox can change into anything. But what the goal was Juicebox was sending out everyone to touch as many different creatures, monsters, people, because you can't change into them unless you've touched them. If it doesn't exist, says Ali, how did she make the change? Don't they have to touch them? The 5th floor for the dome, says Laia. I think, holy shit, academic. I want you to unveil that one.
So my reading was that Juicebox is or has interacted. I'm leaning is Scolopendra. So this whole through line of this story that has been happening over the last since floor 3 is sort of culminating in this character who we know as an NPC has existed in the dungeon for who knows how long and is one of the most experienced NPCs that we know of to date. And I think that since Scolopendra has been
active,
kicked around as like this is the thing. Yeah, I think that's Juicebox, right? It's got to be Juicebox, right? That's my thought.
I would love to go back and wonder every time Scolopendra gets a mention, is Juicebox there? Because at the table, Scolopendra shifted or there was a presence or whatever it was, and Jukebox is in the meeting. Was something said to make Jukebox mad? And was there a Scolopendra reaction? Scolopendra stirs. Yes, Faden. I like this. KP Dubs is letting everyone know that the nothing is also called the hag, the unwashed, the stalker, the last light, the thirst, the fell, the inexorable. Holy hell. So this thing is like so dark and spooky and Baba Yaga-esque that no one even, some people don't even believe that it's real. Why did Architect Houston look excited? What the fuck is his deal? Said to Carl, if you ever mention my mother again, I'll basically, torture you into existence. Who is Architect Houston and what's their deal? Too many cooks at this stage in the kitchen for me. Who is Architect Houston? Can we look it up and get a Carl wiki?
He's, someone from the Lem Extortion, I think. Or no, the
he's a
Lem
piece of
Extortion
shit.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ali. He has animosity with Carl, the head of that one faction.
He's also working with the people who try to hijack Carl when he was trying to get Maria under control and got teleported, but it didn't fully work. And then
God, we haven't even talked about that.
Yeah, that was weird because it just felt like things just did I skip a chapter in this?
100%. So, okay, we're flinging back and forth around here as well. Houston is the warlord of the Viceroy faction war team. Thank you, Lisa. Viceroy, who else said that? Not the Lemon Consortium. Oh, KP Dubs, head of one faction. Anyway, we got there. There was an attempt of using outside information, and this is where we first start hearing about spies. And Carl's like, what? Spies? Oh, that's the first time hearing about it. Essentially, Katia is going into a regression where to kick the side effects of a particular drug that she's been taking, she has to go back into it and face the fear, face the bad thing. Carl is deciding that didn't get the approval of Donut to do this, doing it behind her back, but he's going to help her with it. There has been a lot of talk online about Carl and Katia's relationship. A lot of people are saying that they actually have feelings for each other. People saying, I know this isn't a romance book, but I've read my fair share of romance, and this is a friends to lovers situation. Absolutely. Katia is in a relationship with Bautista. She's keeping him out of that completely. She's turning to Carl to help in this most vulnerable moment. She's mad at Carl only because he's letting people take advantage and hurt him. She's trying to protect him. Do you think that there's something going on here? And this ain't the first time I brought this up on this book club either.
You mean?
No, I refuse. I want a great platonic friendship. All right, that's what I want.
It might be one-sided. It might be one-sided. Someone mentioned on the Reddit that Donut has shaded Carl so much, basically even insinuating at the start of the book that dicks could fall all over him and he wouldn't be aware, right? She's just outing him as someone who is oblivious when it comes to anything to do with feelings. Hell, we started this book and he's watching his girlfriend's cat while his girlfriend is in the Bahamas cheating on him. This is from Carl's point of view. Reddit is saying that Carl is an unreliable narrator, and just because he's not clocking that Katya might have feelings for him doesn't mean that those feelings are not there. Can we be okay with Donut and Ferdinand going from enemies to lovers? I saw you write this in the Fable, and I was going to respond saying the way that Jeff Hayes does Ferdinand's voice, it's a lot like, it's like a grislier version of, I've already forgotten the Quasar's voice. So Ferdinand sounds like this, right? And because Donut sounds like this, ain't no way. Ain't no way that that's how that's going. Hey, kitten. Yeah, that's right. To be fair, he's in a literal war zone and has no time to focus on romance, barely even friendship. I get that completely. Katya is in a relationship. I feel Katya is able to have those sorts of feelings. I think that Katya has recognized that maybe Carl has no capacity for that, and Bautista did have spoons, did have availability. I think Katya is incredibly isolated and lonely. I think that the betrayal of like someone she thought was her best friend trying to assassinate her, learning from Eve that everyone just thought she was pathetic and like they were almost using her, like she has such lack of trust and her self-esteem plummeted. She turned to drugs to numb her pain. Yes, I feel like Katya's got feelings for Carl. Now, if I were in that dungeon, can you see the title of this goddamn book for a second? If I were in that dungeon and Carl was running at me like that, you bet your butt I would have feelings for that man. He's a fictional character, Maude. It doesn't matter. I've already told Matt Dinnerman that this long hair look, I was like, you tell Carl to call me when he gets out of that dungeon. Ali says, hell yeah, Maude. Me too. Colleen, can we weigh on this? Is Carl babe? Yes, no. Yep, she's nodding. Lisa, would you date Carl? Yes, no? Lisa's
I think that's an obvious yes.
obvious yes. Vanessa. And any of the guys, feel free to answer this. Would you, Carl? Yes, no?
Yeah, why not?
Oh,
Hell yeah. I like Carl. KP Dub's reminding me that he's a fictional character. Thank you, Zing. I like that one. Lai says only if the boxes stay on. I feel like he's on level 9 and he's still got no shoes and boxes. If it hasn't come out at this stage, it ain't gonna. You would feel so vulnerable if you were just in boxer shorts, right? It's a televised program. Yeah. I would be crossing them legs every dang day. There's who knows where these camera angles are, you know what I'm saying? He had to take the boxes off back in book 2. I forgot about that one. How so? Agent says so many red flags. Girl, what you doing? What do you mean there's red flags with Carl? How so? He had a bad childhood. And the second that he started getting a little sucked into the whole Donata thing, which was a little scary, we lost him for a little bit there. Donut was there to oh yeah, they ran into the stairs naked. That's right. That's right.
He is super emotionally unavailable. This is not healthy.
Oh, he's so emotionally unavailable, isn't he? And I'm not even here like I could fix him. That is not a thought that's gone through my head. Trust me. Oh, yeah, straight away, Ali. No, but I can fix him. All right, Ali, you try your best. Permission.
I would almost say there's not a therapist in the world or the galaxy that is trained to handle Carl's emotional damage.
Carl has suppressed. I've said this before. I'll say it again. Yeah, I can't break Carl. I've said it before. I'll say it again. If we were in a dungeon, someone who can suppress emotion, I think, is the best person that you could have in this state. If you have someone who gets emotional and every single thing that happens in this dungeon can absolutely ignite emotion. Are you kidding? Someone who can stay collected, that's how you survive. That's how you live. Carl is the anchor. I would stick to Carl like glue if I was in there. Agent says, thank you. Yes, emotions, violence, etc. But yes, I would run my hands through that hair. Vaden.
It's like speaking of the motion thing, like it's funny you mention that because I think you're right, but like the top callers in the game have been super emotional for the most part. Like Donut's very emotional.
She's so emotional, and it's a liability sometimes.
Yeah, Lucy Amara goes literally
insane.
insane.
But like,
and has
why
no
do you think she's
personality.
at the bar suppressing it with booze?
Yeah. And Prepotente, you've seen how moody he is. Like,
He
like,
insults everyone. I probably would do that if I were in the dungeon.
he just insulted everyone.
Yeah. Well, if they were being idiots, absolutely. I'd be like, pull your head in, mate. Vakata says Carl is super emotional. He just only has anger as an emotion. I don't think the Ring of Divine Suffering is helping. I do know 100% that Donut has Carl on check. Carl's rage, and Carl is someone who would rather feel rage than any other emotion. Rage is the easiest thing for him to process and to handle, and it's the most helpful emotion in the dungeon. Absolutely. Maude, you don't need to be in the dungeon to insult everyone, says Kat. You're goddamn right.
God damn it, Donut.
Ali says, Maude, do you think the AI chose Carl for that reason? He was the only one who could handle it. Carl's mantra being "you will not break me" screams volumes throughout this entire book. The AI and the dungeon, especially in the last book, was designed to find and manipulate and exploit all of your vulnerabilities. We've seen that throughout this entire thing. Ferdinand is in this because it was one of the only kind of relationship that Donut has ever had. They will use anyone who is alive or even dead, repackaged and repurposed to torment you in the dungeon. Does Carl have the healthiest dose of naivety when it comes to emotional relationships? Holy good Lord, yes. He didn't even know his girlfriend was cheating on him. Come on, fool. Is Donut brilliant? Yes. I think Donut has a lot of emotional maturity a lot of the time. I think she's incredibly clever. Do I think Carl would be a good person to be around when there isn't a constant catastrophic level threat? Maybe not. I think he would choose to stay a little naive. I think he would choose to sidestep a lot of hard conversations and decisions to protect his peace, right? Is Carl the perfect guy to have the kill switch? Yes. Is Carl the person that I would trust more than anyone in the dungeon? Yeah. Do I understand why the cracks are starting to show with him? Abso-freaking-lutely, and I'm shocked that it hasn't been as even more extreme than what we've seen. In fact, going back through other characters, we're looking at how they are transforming. Linar is a great example of this. We haven't really gotten to know Linar, and she's powerful. She's powering up more and more. We don't really get her. And I think that it's the quiet ones that are the ones to watch. She's almost like non-verbal. We're seeing Florence actually, I feel, getting softer. He's found out that Lucy Amar has all the children left on the world in her head, essentially. And so that's his prerogative now. That's his priority. We're getting a lot more depth. I would have thought for sure. Like Serendil Gore, great example. End of the last book. She could have found a will to fight and keep going. She opted out. The people that she entered with were dead. All of her hope was gone. She didn't want to keep being a puppet. She ended it. Sir Endilgore. So I get it. Ali says I get sociopath vibes from Lena. Agent, I'm not saying that out loud. Jeff says, I turned back in for a moment and I have issues with a ton of what's being said right now. I'll save it for part 2. All right. Aaron, you've had your hand up.
Kind of go on the track of like Carl showing cracks and stuff when he was basically like, when they're like going after Princess Donatia and they're in the throne room and he's just about to like, go in for the kill and he's just feeling all the rage.
Yeah.
That's been pent up because he's just realizing like she was sponsoring Donut and then doing all these other shady things, like coming off as like a friend.
Yep.
But really she's also just trying to screw them over. That pissed him off so much that he was about to just lose it fully, and Donut stops him.
What was really interesting, what's really interesting in that moment, and people have said this on Reddit as well, that like his anger was disproportionate in that moment. Like, but I understand where he's coming from at the same time. They're all in this together in a way. Prince Stalwart, when he was Prince Stalwart, he was showing exactly who he was. We knew he was an asshole. He wasn't trying to pretend otherwise. The betrayal that Carl felt with someone positioning themselves as an ally, positioning themselves as someone who was helping them, but was actually pulling the strings just as much, and loved the fact that this was just a game. I think this is like almost like, you know, when you find out with the Hunger Games, great example, that these billionaires are using people's lives for entertainment, and you are sickened by that, right? The deception piece unraveled Carl. Now, it was really difficult, I think, as the reader, to hear him that livid and that angry and wanting to give in to the violence. And I think it was so beautifully well done in the book, with Donut just being like, Carl, don't. I've got this. And he's like, no, let me do it. Come on. And she's like, nope. And him, in hindsight, being like, thank you, Donut. I need you to be able to be there for me like that. I don't know how many more we've got of those where Carl will actually listen to Donut when he's raging out that hard. Yes, academic.
I would like to say that I think that it's more than just his own personal rage. We already mentioned it earlier, but we talked about Everly's experience. That's the one that was trapped in the tower and got smushed to death, right? Like that, she had that exact same experience of like, she thought she had someone that was sponsoring her, and that was what was ended up going to be her salvation, but it ended up being an ad, right? Like that. And it's not just that. I'm sure he's heard of multiple other stories like that in the cookbook, throughout the CrawlCon, all of these things. And like, it's not just his rage that he's bearing right now, it's the rage of all of these crawlers, right? And it's only further exemplified by these 50,000 other 10 plusers, right? That have come to his aid, right? It's like, oh, I'm not just carrying my rage, I'm carrying the universe's rage, right?
Yeah.
So I think that there's more of that to that.
And I do think it's so important with this cookbook, where he lives through all of their experiences. He also hears about these situations that they're faced with as well, how unfair it's been for so many, how some of them have had like demises that are just soul destroying. He's lived through their experiences too. So you're right. It's all compounding at a rate that it's wild that he can take. Vaden says, exactly, Maude. Carl's biggest emotional trigger is betrayal. Like Donut, they both get excessively angry in those moments. And Ali said, I think Carl was more mad because the princess was intentionally hurting Donut. He can handle if someone hurts him, but Donut is like his little sister. And Academic says, yeah, it is too much for one man to bear. What did Odette say, says KP Dubs? Find out what's in it for them when they help you. Everyone's trying to get something out of everything. So, yeah, that's really interesting. But I do think that the quote that I really liked was Donut saying, you've got to get rid of that ring. And Carl's like, I can't. I need it to power up. I need it to stay strong. And Donut goes, strong won't matter if you're dead. And it's like, how far will this go? How many kills can you get on that ring of divine suffering? Well, you only just get 1 point more of whatever their highest stat was. Is it worth it? Aaron.
And remember, he got another ring of divine suffering from
Rust.
King Rust's body, along with like some necklace was also really powerful, but he's pretty much been told flat out, don't, it's not worth it. The consequences are far outweighing the gain. And he's like, he already thought about like wanting to wear another ring, but he knows that there's a limit, so he can't do it.
Oh, KP Dub says the ring has leveled up. He's now getting 5 stat points per kill, because it starts at +1, then it goes up to +3. Now it's +5. Oh gosh, yeah. I would.
And I think now, because he's on the ninth floor, he can mark multiple people.
Yeah, if he's going to wipe out an entire, like, let's say, horde, he can mass mark all of them. But again, if one of them doesn't die, he cannot heal until they're dead. So that's like, there's such a caveat with that. You have to know that you're able to kill them. And I thought that Donatia did a really interesting thing. She was purposely keeping herself injured so she wasn't at full health, so she couldn't be marked. But that was pretty scary, like that whole thing. She's screaming. She's, you know, begging for forgiveness. She's pleading for her life, and it's not working. And it was pretty gruesome the way that ended. While he's wearing it, he gets +5 bonus to all his stats. Holy shit, as if you wouldn't wear it. Yeah. And again, if it were anyone else, I don't think anyone else would have the, what am I going to call it, constitution to be able to take on the suffering of the ring. And this is the first time. He just wanted to take it out on someone who wronged him. Like, that's what I respect about with Carl. I think he's firm but fair. I think he's incredibly level-headed. Fortitude. Yeah, that's good too. Vicata says, this is actually weird about book 5. Prepotente had Miriam marked, but Carl marked her. Yeah, that was a bit wishy-washy as well. Did the AI send him the ring because of the river? We still don't know what this river is. Is it metaphorical? Is it actual? There's fan theories that it's to do with being primal. Aaron.
AI didn't give him the ring. Frank and Maggie had the ring first,
yes.
And he got it from their body or somebody's body.
Prepotente wore one before. He wasn't sent the ring. Yes. Yeah, I know. Yeah, he got the first one from Frank and Maggie, and that's how it backfired, remember? Ugh, it was horrible. Not surviving the experience, probably. I feel I'd put it on, but definitely become an unrequited monster. Yeah, everything has a cost, right? Frank gave it to him at the Desperado. Tark, floor 6, had different rules. What's that one, Agent Orange? Let's try and get through all the other things that are in here because I feel like there's a lot happening. Oh, we meet Venata, the Naga princess. But you can call me the whore? Like, what? Anyway, the backstory for the Naga is wild. She essentially has to birth a female to basically, you know, take over as heir. And if what is it? And if it's the opposite, she'll give birth to 100 of them, and then they all wait and they all try to kill her. It feels like a pretty volatile, but that's their culture. That's what they have. It's just a lot. Yeah, she has to birth like 99 of one gender or 199 of the other. I forget all the details. 99 males equals death. Yeah, because then all 99 males fight to kill her or something ridiculous like that. We're trying to figure out where she is because the whole thing about the Naga is that they're not like an army. They're assassins. So they're sneaky. Tendentiousness says, reptiles are weird. As an Australian, yeah. I get it. I'll definitely try to kill you. What's interesting is in the war room meeting, Venata having this absolute chokehold on Carl. Carl's like, holy hell, I haven't felt that since Signet. And that was a charisma buff, right? And he's just like staring into her red eyes. So something's going on here. She obviously has a lot of intel. She knows about Cascadia's family. She's like on the in, tries to strike a deal. What is it that Venata says to Carl? Like, how will you choose? We can offer you a solution. Basically, we can protect you and Donut and Katia. We can make you citizens of our nation. You don't have to end us. And Carl's basically like, cool, fuck you, you're dead. So that's also like another thing that's happening within the faction wars as well. This is the Crown of the Sepsis whore. And that is that Donut and her party have to eliminate every single Naga on the 9th floor. And Katia has also worn this crown thanks to Eve, Sneaky Snake. So Katia also has to eliminate every single one of them. And both can't live. So they're figuring out, contingency plans where Katia, through another god, through Odette's nemesis, is kind of helping her eat the forbidden flower, whatever, to try and thanks, tendentiousness. She's fucking Australian. We bloody swear a fuckload. Yep. Tendentiousness, where are you in Australia? I was just there last week. It was great. I still got jet lag. I slept until 10 a.m. this morning. Horrible. Ugh, no one needs that much sleep. Anyway, Canberra, whew, not much happens there. Kidding. I'm sure it's wonderful. I mean, I grew up in Brisbane. I'm so bored of that place. I left as soon as I could. Ugh, boring. Anyway, I don't really know what else to talk about with the Vanita, Donata, don't know her. Never met her. Whatever. Let's talk about Valtigue. This is really interesting. Valtigue is your favorite KPW. You're like, yay! Valtigue is an author of the cookbook, one entry only. Didn't know what to do with it. Got overwhelmed by the entire thing. Became a gargoyle so that he could just sidestep all of the challenges. Kind of, I guess, like an Agatha. Like, didn't really play or participate in the crawl. Just tried to survive it in the best way possible. Wasn't a team player. Felt incredibly ashamed leaving the dungeon. Recognized that the effects that he got as a gargoyle didn't turn over in the real life. Didn't have all the advantages of it. Hated himself. Hated that he didn't try to make things right. Hated that it was just one entry. Didn't want to even talk to the other cookbook authors. What a beautiful moment. Was it with Tippett? Was it Tippett that said, you can still help. Like, you can start now, essentially.
I thought it was Porthos who.
Was it Porthos? Porthos, yeah. Porthos is like, hey, dude. Just because you haven't done it to this point doesn't mean you can't start now. And Valtigue recognized that as everyone, all the other previous crawlers were sneaking onto the crawl for this particular stage and the faction wars, that he could give the greatest gift in this, and that was his life. And he essentially eliminated an entire faction. And it was just a beautiful moment of reflection and understanding. And Carl never even met him. This is the thing. Like, Carl has no idea who this is. Donut talks about the explosion, crediting someone else. They don't really get it. But what a beautiful moment as a ex-crawler to see the impact that has on you. He was just trying to survive and he felt guilty for that as well. Aaron, your hand's up.
Also, to backtrack in that same moment, but elsewhere prior to that, when King Rust is killed by Rosetta, she literally robs him and then immediately puts in the credit shit and then shunts it elsewhere. So it's like they're basically broke the royal family.
Yep. Not only did they take out the patriarch of the whole line, and he, let's be real, seemed like the only sane one out of all of them, and he basically ridicules his children. He's like, they're idiots. And Rosetta decapitates him, doesn't even rob his body. So everything that Rust has on his body, not head, Carl now has access to. Carl has in his inventory. Rosetta uses that credit chit, billions of credits. And Donut is such a brat to Stalwart about it. Oh, but you're broke now. Oh, you've got no money. Oh, your credits are no good here.
Because he's wearing the crown. It's like, I bet you he wouldn't, and he did.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're laughing, howling, laughing. Tome, I feel like we did this before, if it was to me or if it was Tome, and I've forgotten already, or Tom, and your middle name is E. I can't wait to discuss all the cookbook authors and cookbook snippets in the next stream. Got it. That's my homework. I'll prepare all of that. To be fair, we have in fact met the maestro, says Liar. Unfortunately, yes, we have. Ali says, so this is where I get confused because Carl is the narrator, but he also shares these details that he didn't experience. I feel like Carl is really a master narrator telling his story in the future. It's in present time, but there are excerpts from the cookbook that he is privy to, having read it. But there's also POVs from crawlers that haven't engaged with Carl. So that particular Voltique chapter, Carl is not privy to at all. He never knew Voltique. He has no idea. He knows him as the one excerpt, one entry, and that's it. So there you go. Vakata says, I think since they aren't in his voice, they're just extra pieces for the narrative. Aaron says, I wouldn't be surprised if his narration moments are bits in the cookbook. I don't think he was entering his last moments in any cookbook because he doesn't have access to it anymore. Carl's got the cookbook.
I'm saying like we're reading. No, I'm saying like anytime Carl is narrating, I'm wondering if it's like entries in the cookbook that he's basically just telling his entire story from when he got into the dungeon till now. That's my theory.
No, there's chapters that he's not privy to. Milk is another one. Milk is Darren.
So that's what I'm saying. Like anytime it's Carl's narration moments, when it's in his voice, that's entries in the cookbook. Everything else is their own thing. Yeah.
And Milk's a really interesting one as well. Milk, says KP Dubs. Darren, you brought it up. Is Darren not here anymore? There you are. In the Fable. Oh, he's deafened. Everyone wave to Darren in the chat so we can get his attention. If everyone starts waving and it's not him, there you go, it worked. I didn't deafen. Come back. Yeah. Okay, Darren, I'm talking about you. That's why we all started waving. You mentioned in the Fable about Milk's sentence, basically. So she has to have, to be free of her, not conscription, servitude. She has to engage in 333 helpful ways to help a crawler. The problem is Milk has also been sentenced to a secret club that is behind a secret wall that no one has found. Indenture. Thanks, Aaron. She needs 333 more crawlers to find her hidden door map guild, right? And in the hundreds of years she's been a part of the crawl, she has been helpful, or she's been able to knock off 6 out of 333. And this is, indentured serviture. What is that called? Indentured serviture? What is that word? I keep saying it. Servitude. You didn't know what that word means.
Slavery with more steps.
Yep. And pushing back the posts every single time you pay a little bit off, you're owed even more. It happens a lot in...
Like contract slavery is another way of looking at it.
Mm-hmm. Captain Awesome Ball says how that was supposed to be an enthusiastic hello, but instead, what did we get? Where was your hello? I didn't see it.
I'm going to kill your mother.
KB Dubs, yes, but Pony found her. He knows where Milk is. We got a flashback of Pony and Miriam. How is that for all the readers who was there when Miriam died? KB Dubs, how is that for you?
It was tough because we got to see her again, but Milk helped. Milk's like, oh, please don't threaten me because then I'll have to tell you information.
Because I have all of these things on me that would be very helpful. I would hate to have to give them to you. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So Milk knew how to play the game.
Except, warning, you have been helping the crawler if you do this again. So she's pushing what she can get away with as well.
And I don't think she cares because I think she's a former author of the cookbook too, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, Milk was mentioned by Rosetta on the show, right? Because it was Milk's entry that Milk found out about the tattoo transference.
The Tourmaline, yeah.
Yes. And now that Rosetta's in there, she's like, all right, let's go. I need the ingredients. We need to keep on with this. This is what I've been trying to tell you this entire time. My show got cancelled because I was trying to get this message across to you and you didn't get it, you thick boy. In both ways.
Be fair though, she's like doing it in code that he doesn't understand because it's like he's still trying to process everything.
That's 100%, right? But they have to be so subtle. And this is the thing, what I think is really funny. Carl's subtleness with the cookbook is like Porthos going, or was it Porthos or Tippett being like, he's screaming. It is so obvious that he's got the cookbook this time around. Laia says Milk may be a slave now, but she's also an author. Yes.
I just wanted to say that my impression of Tippett was that other cookbook authors see Carl obviously being a cookbook,
but no one else knows about the cookbook. Yeah,
I don't necessarily think other people know, but I also want to just kind of circle back to some things we said before. Carl's emotions and how he's got so much going on and he's broken, but he
not broken. They will not break him.
He has a connection to these cookbook authors.
Yes.
That goes beyond any other connections he has. And I think that's why when he sees Tippett, he sees the name above his head. When he sees Rosetta and he sees the name above her head, and he's like, and he asks, he's like, are there more of you? And they're like, only a few.
Oh, if a few is only 50,000. Yeah.
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 But Carl and
Tippett,
and they hug for like 5 minutes, and everybody in the room was like, what the hell is happening?
Donut's jealous. Donut's like, what is going on? Why is behaving like this? And we all know. And like,
so that's why I think
Carl's choking up.
They understand him in a way that no one else ever could.
He's a secret support. He has a secret support network. So like, he has been given a leg up in this competition because of this book, because of these entries. Like, imagine if you're in high school and every single time you were sitting down for a test, like a little secret society in a group chat messaged you the answers, you know? Like, how grateful would you be for all of that? Now imagine if your life was dependent on it, right? Like, there is a kinship there, and it's his secret. It's like been weighing on him. And now that he knows that he has not only access, but they're real and they're there and they have information and they're willing to help him. And we all know that the whole message of the cookbook is to bring down the dungeon. Like, they're all on the same objective with all of that. Vicada has said a bunch, actually. The fact that it seems like others aren't watching for the cookbook seems odd, because we see some evidence early on of authors getting pinched for being too obvious. He's been calling them his brothers and sisters, and I think that he means it. I don't think he's grateful. I think he feels kinship with their anger. Agent Orange says, I feel like his definition of broken and the psychological definition of broken are two different things. I agree with that. Lai says, yeah, no one else could know. The cookbook is tightly held secret between the authors and the AI. The AI liking and respecting loophole exploitation is very interesting. I think if he's entertained by it, he allows it. The AI. You know what I mean. Oren might be kind of stuck watching the AI. Oren's really interesting as well. I really respected Oren in that moment that he had with the AI and with Carl. Like, I've just hung up on the president. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot going on here. It's not, the stakes get higher and higher. It's not the end of the crawl. It's not the end of the level. It's not the end of a life. It's the end of the entire ecosystem. Like, there's so much, and he's trying to navigate it. And I don't know, like, just those interactions with Carl, I thought it was a really interesting chapter. Loopholes make for great television, and that's all the AI is really worried about. Is the AI or is the syndicate the bigger enemy at this point? Great question, KP Dubs. I would answer that as the syndicate will always be the enemy. The AI might not. And it depends how comfortable Carl is willing to play along nicely with the AI. The AI is the greater threat at this stage. The AI is the bigger, full stop. Poof. Liar says the syndicate. Aaron says it's a matter of perspective. See, Agent Orange, thanks for stopping by. We're actually out as well. We're over time. There was so much to talk about in this. I'm going to quickly look over. Oh my God, we didn't even talk about the fact that there are invisible soldiers, the Valte worms that were happening. Like, that's what they were dealing with. It's so great that Donut can see invisibility because there's secret forces that were infiltrating. Carl working out. Why is this person, they have an X and they're alive? What is happening? All right, cross-check on the recently deceased list. See if the person next to you is actually reanimated at this stage. So much was going on. Brittany being the liaison between Juicebox and the NPCs. For some reason, that's flagged in my brain. I don't know what's going on with Brittany. Something's happening there. We talked about that. The whole planet system feeling the threat of Princess Formidable. Valtig's story, that was always great.
There was a question I think KB posted about how we thought about the characters evolving from earlier books.
How do we feel the characters, the plot, and the writing has evolved from book 1 to book 7?
Yeah, because for me, it's like book 1 was more like comedy, is just fun and games, but now we are deep into character psyche, deep into galactic plot lines, stuff like that. So
yeah, my answer to that would just be it's dense, the density of it all.
It was like, is Dinnaman evolving as much as the characters as a writer? I'm just curious what people.
I mean, he keeps churning out these books as well. He's not stopping that flow. Hell yeah. Question that I had, now that we're in faction wars, and this is just a war, we don't have the usual mobs and bosses, city bosses, borough bosses, etc. Do you miss that?
I never miss the city bosses, all the other bosses, and the way they escalated, because I know it's gone from like neighborhood to like to I can't remember when it goes beyond that, but city and
boss fight.
Yeah, it's also just fun. I really miss like just a straight up fight. Like, we didn't really have an actual. We had this war stuff going on, and the war is a different kind of fight, right? But it's not personal. It's like it's more strategy and tactics, and it's a little big picture, too much big picture stuff.
KP Dub says they get better with every book. K Friday says, I like the change. Yeah, I think that's what the really hard thing with these series are, is that you have to switch it up and you have to one-up yourself every single time. Colleen says it's much darker now. It absolutely is. Like, you are feeling the pressure and the sacrifice and the loss and what's at stake here. Yeah. We've connected with these characters over the last 7 books as well now. Tosapost says Faction Wars is a nice break from the level grinding. But like, leveling up is still so crucial in this part. Like, it always is going to be crucial as well. Aaron said, Carl realizing at the end of chapter 44 that the Naga soldiers are all dead except the Whore Queen Naga. It's interesting learning that and then seeing Venetta in that particular state. She seems so in control, so powerful, so in the know. But now in hindsight, it's like she's only got one more card to play, because she's really like, she's out, like she's screwed. But that's also nice. I like, as the reader, it didn't really click to me the first time until like the following chapters, when you kind of like understand that a little bit more. But like, for me, reading this book, this is one of the first times I have felt a little overwhelmed. I feel like I've got 12 tabs open, and I've constantly feel the pressure of those tabs screaming information at me. And I have to figure out which tab am I prioritizing, who's talking, where's the music coming from, all that kind of stuff. In a life or death situation, being responsible for so many people and yourself as well.
He has 12 tabs on his eyeballs
at
all times.
At all given time. That's it, you know. And the fact that he's now prioritizing things over others. He's not prioritizing a chat. He's not prioritizing his notifications, you know, like these. Information is so crucial, and to be able to exchange it like that. And like, when he came back, when he comes in and out of these meetings, he's like, hey, what did I miss? Like, hey, what's going on? Like, I can't keep up with everything that's been happening throughout all of this. Vaden is asking, do the physical books have appendices, character lists, and other references? I have a physical copy in oh, fuck off. Are you kidding? What have I been saying? Come on, focus.
Nope.
It's
nothing in the back.
It says in this, and just like that. I am telling you right now. And just like that is one of the more overused phrases that I'm hearing in pop culture, in writing, in this book. I am hearing and just like that over and now that I've put your attention onto it, it's happened 3 times in the first half of this book. Did you know that? Just like that. And just like that, 3 times in the first half of this book. And Steph says, and just like that, I'm here. I know, I've ruined this for Steph. Now that I've said this, I planted the seed for when we covered Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. Steph was reading Inevitable Ruin, took a screenshot of the page, highlighted it, and it said, just like that. So now we're all in the just like that headspace. I've ruined it all for you. Toast Poster says, She Maria is never mentioned when Carl is in a zero zone. I wonder if this means anything. Ooh, I like all the theories. All right, your homework is finish the book. We're 44 chapters in, and let me tell you, we had to read that in 1 week. That was chonk. That was a big book. We're getting through it. We're finishing the book. We also have a bonus book this month, and that is going to be Edge Dancer. If you are reading the Stormlight Archive series with us, I know that's a nil for 2 for you this month, Timbo. It's Sanderson Light, as KP Dubs has just said. KP Dubs says, I have a coworker who says needless to say. Well, they keep saying it. Not that needless, well, it is, but everyone's got their thing.
Sanderson Light is still reading the Encyclopedia Britannica.
For some.
Nope.
For some. I recognized a crutch that I had. I listened back to my interviews. I hate watching my shit back. I don't like it. I found one, and I really don't like it because I think it can come across so obnoxious. Obviously. Is it? Is something obvious? Mine is obviously da-da-da-da. And I just think the connotation on that is like, well, everyone knows. Well, obviously, I need to cut that out real fast because I don't like, if someone said obviously to me as a crutch word, talking about something that I had no idea about, I'd be like, is it obvious? Because I didn't know. Like, I would hate someone dishing obviously to me, and yet it is my crutch word.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like basically, like a filler word, right, to stall a little bit to get the rest of your sentence through.
Clearly, so clearly would be another one. Clearly, da-da-da. But it's not. Is it clear? Is it? I need a better crutch word. By the way, thank you, Steph, for resubscribing for 17 months. It's lovely to have you here. What could be a better one than obviously? Obviously. When Snape says it, it's great. When Maude says it.
Turn to page 394.
Obviously.
I don't say like obviously or clearly, but I do use a lot of like
essentially.
Well,
I know yours. It's essentially.
Essentially or well or like
it's essentially. Okay. But essentially still works. Essentially it's right. This. Essentially.
So it sounds less rude.
Maybe I'll take on essentially over obvious. Obviously.
Obviously.
And you tried out to be Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher? Yes, correct. And you didn't get it? Obviously. Oh, it's so good. Anyway, JK sucks. It's plain to see. No, Toaster, that's terrible. It's not plain to see. Evidently. No. Tredentiousness. I'm trying to avoid the obnoxiousness of having a crutch word being like to state the obvious. You know what I mean? Because that's like
language.
That's not a good thing. If I'm saying, well, obviously the movie starts with this. Is it obvious for everyone? Maybe. Keep It Up says, like, you say like way too much. Like's harmless. I've noticed. Maybe I've noticed. Just an observation. In my humble opinion. Like and subscribe. All right, on that note, finish the book. I'll see everyone here same time next week. 5 till 7 p.m. PT. Thanks for all the follows. Like and subscribe. Kidding. I'll see you in the Discord. I think that because this book is so chunky and we're going full spoilers next week, it's all hands on deck. Let's figure out who all these authors are. Let's get blurbs together. Let's get brainstorms. Let's talk fan theories. Let's deep dive. Let's tinfoil hat together. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm surprised that I'm only 17 minutes over as well, honestly. There was a lot to talk about. And there weren't tangents! Yay! Winner chicken dinner. Alrighty, everyone, let's raid. Raid? Who are we raiding into? I like that Raid made it to Australia, by the way. What are we feeling?
I have some people that I started following recently that only have 3 people watching right now. They just got affiliate like a week ago.
Affiliate? Okay, give me one of them. Are they good? They're not going to come on board and be like, and here's how you become a Nazi. That's the only thing I worry about.
No, I wouldn't say that they're family friendly.
I mean, I'm not either.
Kiwi are appalled.
But it's Feral Goblin Gal.
Oh, I mean, immediately yes.
That's a great name.
Yeah. Immediately yes. Gal, G-A-L?
Yes, all one word. Feral Goblin Gal.
All right, everyone, let's drop some books and bombs. Nice.
And I was actually talking to her about book club earlier.
Oh, fantastic. All right, let's give Feral Goblin Gal a lovely warm welcome. What a great name. And I'll see everyone next week. Bye-bye.